Do I have to sneeze? Wow, okay, that was not COVID, but gee. Hello, beautiful creatures, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute! And as usual, my excuse is I have been in school and have not had time to make videos. And it's a horrible excuse because I know other people in my life that have YouTube channels and have had thriving, you know, school lives and YouTube channel lives during this odd school year. But you know what? I'm gonna take the whole theater major thing as my reason because my major is harder than yours. Wow, that seemed very rude. I don't mean that in that I'm discrediting the work that other majors are doing because honestly, you know what? Y'all got a lot. I'm just saying that, you know, in a few ways, theater is harder to do online than some majors, and I'm not saying all majors. You know what? I'm being very PC right now. I feel like you know what I mean, and if you don't, I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm sorry. But this video is basically gonna be, I feel like I do this once a year, but like a little check-in. But mostly I'm gonna be talking about theater in college right now and how that's been affected. And I'm going to be doing my makeup as I do it because I feel like doing makeup and I feel like trying things that I don't usually do with my makeup. So we're gonna do that. Side note before we start, so you see this, how it's like basically cream colored, whatever. This was brown like yesterday and I cleaned it with this like elf soap bar thing and I love it so much because it's back to being like white. Stuff that doesn't happen. Anyway, on to the makeup. So by the time this video comes out, it will be over, but I'm currently in finals week or weekend, whatever, of this semester. Pepperdine did it kind of weird this year. They didn't want anybody to have finals on like Thanksgiving or the day before Thanksgiving since this is the end of our semester. Let me say that our semester's ending really early this year. Usually, obviously, semesters end in like December, like second week, third week of December, something like that. But Pepperdine made a lot of changes to the schedule because of, you know, going online. And one of them was that we started 2 weeks earlier than we were supposed to start, and they wanted to like bring us back to campus, but then that didn't happen. So us starting early didn't do anything. So now we're just ending way earlier than everyone else. And we have a 2-month winter break, which means so many videos and I'm so excited and I know you are too. But so our finals, instead of having a week of finals with nothing kind of interfering, they don't want us to have finals the day before Thanksgiving. So we have finals Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. I honestly don't know. Maybe there's finals on Sunday, but I highly doubt it since it's a Christian university. So yeah, but finals week, by the time you see this video, will be over. And I had sort of 7 classes, but really just 5. And I'll explain that in a second. I had Theater History 1 this semester. I had Costuming Design. I had Directing 1. I had Intercultural Communications. This is amazing. I look great. This is the end of my makeup look. Intercultural Communications, and I had Acting 2. And then I also had Audition Practicum, which if you have seen any of my videos from past years, you know is a class I've taken every year. And I had a class called Junior Writing Portfolio. It's not really a class. You have one assignment for the entire semester and it's due in like October. And it's just compiling 4 essays from like the rest of your Pepperdine career into one document and sending it to them so they can be like, you've learned something, or you've learned nothing. So I don't really count that as a class. And then Audi Prac, I don't so much count as a class because once a week, and sometimes I don't do anything in the class. Like, there aren't really assignments technically. So I had 5 classes that I have like finals for. Yes. So far I've done my final for costuming, which was a presentation of our costume design ideas for Midsummer Night's Dream. And that was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of work because we had to create 6 costumes, but I think it went well. I mean, I won't know obviously until later, but I think it went really well. And then I just finished my acting 2 final, and then I'm also doing my theater history final right now. My theater history final is an essay that we were supposed to be kind of compiling throughout the semester, but I really didn't do that. I mean, like, I sort of did in that I took notes on what I thought I would write, but then by the end of the semester, none of those notes make sense for what I ended up choosing as my thesis. So yeah, and then on Monday, which is probably when this video is coming out, I have my directing final, which is just turning in our directing project. Yes, this is how I wet my beauty blender, by the way, and my hair. And then I also have my COM 313, which is intercultural communications final, which is an essay, a couple short answers, multiple choice, you know, normal final stuff. That's my only GE this semester, by the way. Everything else is theater. So I think as far as theater goes this year, I don't even know how to say this. Like, it was weird to do because theater is such a space-driven major. Like, being on stage or being in a rehearsal space is very important. And so a lot of the classes that I took this year were difficult to do on Zoom because we couldn't do that. So for my theater history class, honestly, I don't think that struggled too much since it's a history-based class, and being in a space to learn history isn't completely necessary. So I don't think that class suffered as much as my other classes did. But like my costuming class, for instance, we were supposed to learn how to like sew, and we were supposed to get an understanding of fabric swatches and stuff like that. You know, we were supposed to be able to actually be in a costume shop and shop, like go through the shop and the storage that we have and pick out costumes for our projects. But since we were all at home, we couldn't really do that, and each of our wardrobes are not very extensive on like what we have accessible to us. And so working with that was more difficult because we couldn't actually put to reality what had come to our minds as far as designing costume concepts for these different shows that we did. It also was difficult because one of the important things about this class is learning how to sew. And we did do hand sewing at home because, you know, we can just get a needle and thread and do it. But when it came to like machine sewing, Pepperdine was not about to send everybody a sewing machine, and they were also not about to have all the students in this class buy a sewing machine. And so we just didn't do that part of the class. And I personally am disappointed in that because I've always wanted to learn how to sew. Like, to a certain extent, I think most people know how to sew like basic stuff, like basic stitches in and out, right? But I've always wanted to use a sewing machine and have that skill under my belt, and it's one of the reasons I decided to take the class at all, since it's more of like an elective. And yet she didn't get to, so there's that, and it kind of sucked, but oh well. I wanted to do a red look. Why am I doing pink? I'm wearing red. You know what? It's fine. I'll put some red in here somehow. My directing class was very difficult to get into online because you're supposed to, you know, interact with actors, and you know, direct them in scenes or direct them in a short one act or something like that. And that's super, super hard to do on Zoom because since everybody's at home, everybody's in different like time zones and everything like that. So we had to cast our projects and then we like had to ask people, once we had already casted them and fought over them in class, we had to ask these people, can you even do it? And sometimes they would say yes, sometimes they would say no. And then we'd have to like recast and do stuff like that. And then if they did say yes, we had to like let those people give us times that work with them and deal with time zone differences and everything like that. So sometimes we were having rehearsals at like 10 o'clock at night because somebody's in Japan and that's when they can like rehearse. That's difficult. That's hard. Like group work is one thing, but group work that has to be done all together, I didn't need it. I didn't need it. What I will say is that now that the semester is over and that class is over, I actually really enjoyed the class and I'm excited to take directing 2 in the spring because I think now that we've all kind of adjusted to Zoom more and we all know what Zoom is like and we can work with scheduling a little bit more, it's gonna be easier to put together a larger production, which I think is the plan for the next semester in this class. So I'm excited about that. I think other than that, my biggest issue with classes was my acting class because similarly to the directing class, it was group work. In that we all had scenes. We did like 4 scenes over the course of the semester. But I think what I appreciated about that class was that we included, since all of the actors were in the class, we included rehearsal time into class time. So we didn't always have to meet outside of class. Now I think we all did, but we technically didn't have to. We could use class time for rehearsal. And then like every 2 weeks we would present. Something is in my eye and it's annoying me. What is this? Whatever it is, we would present once a week, once every 2 to 3 weeks, and the rest of the time was really spent for rehearsing, and I really appreciated that. It wasn't easy because there were still some parts of performing a scene that are difficult to do over the computer, like hugging or passing a drink or something like that, but we did figure it out, and I'm glad we did because I actually really enjoyed that class. Like I said, I just got out of that final, and my last scene killed, and yeah, I think the class overall was actually pretty good and we made it work over Zoom even though it was really difficult. And my eye is trying to kill me, if you haven't noticed. So aside from classes changing, I want to talk about how Pepperdine has dealt with actually putting on plays. And I would say much like the rest of the world of theater is doing right now, Pepperdine has just decided to go on Zoom with our plays. I don't know if it's technically Zoom. I haven't been casted in any of the projects we've done this semester, but I know they do rehearse on Zoom. The performances are on some like Vimeo something. I honestly don't know. So my new thing, by the way, with this makeup is I'm gonna try and put glitter. You see how it's red? I'm gonna do the beauty guru thing. You see what I'm using? Yeah. So I'm gonna try and implement this. And this is gonna be its own thing. Like I'm not gonna talk through it, so you could just watch me attempt and probably fail at using this glitter liner thing. So with, oh, this one's coming off. I'm talking too much for it. Sorry, babe. So yeah, that's how Pepperdine's doing it. Right now, they just casted As You Like It for the spring, and we don't know if we're going back in the spring. So right now, I'm thinking that it's gonna be online, but technically we don't know yet. And even if it is online, I think it's gonna be a great show. The cast is great. My best friend Haley got cast in it, and I'm freaking out because she is like the most deserving person ever. And I'm so happy for her. Yay, Haley. But I think as this semester has come to an end, I did really appreciate Pepperdine and the theater department specifically for trying to make this department still work online. It's been difficult, but I think it worked. I'm sorry. I'm never gonna stop looking at the viewfinder. I'm always gonna, and it looks so weird. And I've just noticed that. I'll stop. Anyways, I'm gonna finish my makeup and then I'll close out the video. For you, it'll be in a second, but for me, it'll be in like 25 minutes. Okay, bye. Hey, okay, so I'm back and this is the final look that I did. I just really wanted to do red, if you couldn't tell. But that's all I have for you guys today. To be honest, I think that this semester was a great learning experience in our department, and I think that we learned and gained a lot from having our semester online, even though it's not what we all would have loved. It's not the best option that we had. But yeah, I hope that, oh, you see all of my makeup on there. It's funny. I hope that next semester we get some sort of answer as to first what's gonna happen with next semester, but also just some kind of resolution of how theater will be from now on, because it is changing and it has changed. And I don't know, I want to figure out some way to follow the rules, but also still do theater the way we want to do theater. Anyways, oh, that messed up my hair. Ugh. With all that being said, I think I'm done. So always remember, follow your heart and chase those dreams. Bye.